Rabbi Kaplan, please.
Okay, I want to talk about two separate subjects that don't have to do one with the other, and maybe they do have to do. And we'll see how much time we have. And the truth is, I said when we started this whole series, that I'm calling this Sichas Chon Shel Talmidei Chachamim. I think I said that once. So Sichas Chon, you can sit. Let's say you sit at a Shabbos table, and this. So you talk at the Shabbos table. You can't always say a dvar Torah. Like I was once in a certain house, so they said, "Oh, Rab Daniel is going to give a dvar Torah." I started talking about the parsha. Say, "Oh, he's going to give a dvar Torah." Everybody should be quiet. I said, "I'm not giving a dvar Torah. I'm just talking. I'm discussing. We're having a conversation about the parsha. I mean, what else do from people talk about? What we're going to sit at the table and going to talk about how we work with Arabs during the week? No. Somebody, let's say he has his job is to watch over the Arabs when they build a building. He's going to talk about how the Arabs, what their attitude is, how they work, how you have to watch. It's not for a Shabbos table. Good, but on the other hand, you have to be nice to people, especially if they're your family. So yes, you have to listen. You have to make like you're listening. But that's it. I mean, it's natural. It should be a natural thing on a Shabbos table. You talk about the parsha or about Yiddishkeit or about the Das Torah, who to vote for. But anyway, so I'm saying like this. That this whole series is Sichas Chon Shel Talmidei Chachamim. We're discussing things that came up. So I was talking just now to my sister, and when she told me that she went tonight to see a video together with my mother that's called Project Witness, I think it's called. I think it was in the Tamir Hall. It was in English. That the people that went there, they escaped from the Nazis and they went to Siberia and they were there in the terrible cold and they survived and they kept Yiddishkeit in the hardest conditions. And it's amazing. It's awesome that what people went through and how they kept Yiddishkeit in the hardest situation. Now, my sister's telling me you have a hardship getting along with somebody, so that's small. It's like crumbs compared to what these people went through. So what are you making an issue out of things? Now, this is what it's people talk like that, and it's true. I mean, I can't deny. I'm an honest person, so I said I think I'm an honest person. I can't say for sure, but I think everything. Damn, you should know, Derech Agav. There's some people, everything is, I think, maybe it could be. There's some people that they say the truth. I'm from the maybe could be people. So, anyway, so what I'm saying is that I said, yeah, you're right. But suppose something hurts. I mean, what am I going to say doesn't hurt? Let's say that somebody takes a pin and he sticks me in my finger or in my ankle or in my akev, which is the akev has the least feeling, but it does have some feeling it has. The akev means the heel. So it does have some feeling. It just has the least feeling in the body, but still, stuff goes off. It has a feeling. Somebody stabbed me with a pin. It's not going to hurt. Let's say that somebody sticks a pin gently. You know that when they take blood from you, I go to take a blood test like maybe 4 times a year, sometimes 3 times a year. So they stick in a pin in you. a pain, mamish mashu. So, and then, little children, they scream and scream. but let's say a grown-up. I think I'm a grown-up. I'm not so sure about that either. So they stick it in. So, or let's say somebody sticks in a pin and really in a place that it hurts, but you can tolerate it in the finger, in a certain place in the finger. You can tolerate it. But you still you show on your face some sign of pain. What are you gonna say? Or let's say somebody has a stomach ache or a headache. What are you gonna say? The people were in Siberia and they suffered much more, so you don't have a headache. So your head doesn't hurt you anymore. I mean, the discomfort that you have, you can't function when you have a headache the same way you function when you don't have a headache. It's Aleph Bay. So what are you going to say? Why aren't you functioning good? But some people were in Siberia, and they kept Yiddishkeit in the hardest conditions in 50 degrees below zero, and they kept Yiddishkeit. How could you make a face when you have a headache? But people survived in Siberia. But it hurts. So I don't know. I just don't know how to answer this question, because those that say that, they sound like they're right. On the other hand, what I'm saying also makes sense. The only thing that I could say is that when somebody tells that to the other person, first of all, not everybody has the right to say that to somebody else. You know when I'm suffering, you know what hurts me. And like we once knew Rabbi Lifshitz, that he once said a line, he only said it one time, but we remember it still till today. He said, "Hu kokach sovel v'ata kokach chacham." He's suffering and you're smart. Like say, sometimes somebody is suffering, something is bothering. He's not suffering. He doesn't have a sickness, but he has a problem, and he's uncomfortable about it, and he's worried about it. He's worried, let's say. The other person comes and says, "Oh, what are you worrying about? Why do you look like that?" They'll say, "Well, I'm worried about the shidduch that they're talking for my son, that I'm not so sure if it's right for him." The other one will say, "So why don't you go find out? Why don't you go to this one and that one and find out?" So, you're so smart. You came up with such a brilliant idea. Why don't you go find out? Wow, why didn't I think of that? In the meanwhile, the other person is, I'm sitting there and I'm feeling uncomfortable and I'm feeling worried and I don't know what to do. And you come up, you're living comfortably. You come up and you tell me, "Oh, why don't you look into it? I have my brilliant idea." Certain people, I know that they do that. Mamish, it's without seichel. I can't understand how a person could be that way. The first thing I would do is, I would be mishtatev b'tzar. That means you say, "Oh, you mean you're worried about it? You're worried about that maybe it's not right for your son." And then they'll feel, "Oh, somebody's with me, he's with me." And then make the person feel good. And afterwards you could squeeze in. Well, maybe you could find out. But okay. But I'm talking about people that they're really close to me and they understand you and they're with you, and they say this thing. So they're right also, but I'm right also. Both are right. How do you look? How should a person? Now, my question is, and I'd like the listeners, if any of the listeners have an answer, I'd like them to send in their answers. I'm sure there are a lot of smart people that are listening to me, although I don't understand how smart people have time to listen to this, to listen to talks on the internet. But probably are smart people listening to me. So I'd like them to send in an answer to this question, to this dilemma, maybe we could call it. That means there are two sides to it. On one hand, it hurts. On the other hand, people were in Siberia. I'm making it sound very simple, but there are two sides to it. But I would say, what I thought is that Kosovo Shlishi could be Machriya Beinam. It means like this. Le'olam. People in Siberia suffered more than... I'm not talking about the concentration camps. That's already... That somebody told me. I went to be Menachem Mobile, somebody, Reb Chaim Weiss in Rehova Caplan. His mother died at the age of 104. She was 2 weeks ago. I went to be Menachem Mobile. She died during Sukkot in Chol Hamoed, and he started sitting Shiva after Sukkot. So, very nice man, and even though he seems to be successful, but he's still a nice man. And I went there, so he was saying that his mother went through the Holocaust in Hungary. I mean, Hungary was 1 year. It doesn't matter how much it was. And she said, and she didn't tell too much to her children, maybe a little bit, but not too much. She said, "You won't understand. You can't understand." That's what she said. So I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about Siberia, because that's what happened to be that my mother went there tonight with my sister. So my sister told me. I'm saying the Kosovo Shlishi Machriya Beinam is that Le'olam, if you have a headache, you have a headache and it hurts. And if somebody said something painful to you, it hurts. But you should meditate on such a thing. Think about such a thing. Go over and over in your mind, and until you'll feel, you'll get some kind of a mashu, of a feeling of what Yidden went through. So then maybe your pain will naturally go away. That's what the answer is. If you don't think deeply, if you don't meditate, so you won't. It's no answer to a person, to a superficial person that doesn't know how to think. That's not. I don't know if that's an argument. I don't know. But people suffer more than you. But I'm not them. But I do think that somebody that does know, that is capable of thinking, that you could say to him, "You're right. You're in pain." That person said that to you. It's a good reason to feel pain. Now, I would suggest, as a medicine, as a healing to that pain, I would suggest that you take and you think about it. And I think meditating is a better word. I'm saying like this, because in this itself you could give a whole talk. I would say that there's thinking and there's meditating. The thinking means the thing. Meditating means just to take the same idea and go over and over and over again in your mind. Like it says in the second Igeris, in the Igrus Chazanish, which I always quote. And he says just to go over when you learn Gemara, go over the piece again and again and again, until all of a sudden you'll feel that gates of light open up to you. And I tried it, and I can say the Chazanish is right. It happened. Gates of light, gates open up and light shines out from it. The sugi all of a sudden it lights up. Pieces of Gemara that I remember from my childhood and from the Shnos Roinu Ra and from other times that just looking at that piece of Gemara reminds me of times that I don't want to remember. But you take that piece of Gemara and you go over and over and over. And not just go over and over stam, like Bedil Vayavor again and again. only take it apart into pieces, break it up into parts, go into detail, the most simple parts of the sugya, break it up into simple aleph base, and then look at it then, and then try it again, and all of a sudden you'll feel light coming out of it. Now, start thinking about what it is to live in a tzrif in Siberia, where the temperature is 50 degrees below zero. I don't even know. That woman said that she can't talk about the concentration camps because you won't understand. I don't know if you can understand this either. I know that you go in the street when it's cold in the winter. After a while, let's say you're standing by a bus stop, and it's cold. Yeah, 5 minutes you have to wait for a bus. You start getting irritable. And I'm talking about the cold over here, which you can tolerate the cold, even the coldest days here in Eretz Yisrael. I think you can tolerate it. So just imagine what it means. But still think about that kind of cold. Think about waiting by a bus stop when it's a little bit dark outside, and you can't open up a sefer and learn. You can't. You're waiting to get home, and the bus is not coming, and it's cold, and you're standing there, and you're shaking. You know that in 10 minutes, let's say the bus is going to come. Think about what that feels like. Think about, and then imagine that it was colder and colder and colder, and imagine that. Then start imagining, and you're in a faraway country, away from home. Let's say you're with your family in Siberia. Okay, I know of somebody here, and I know that he was in Siberia with his parents. They were together as a family, but they were in Siberia, and very ehrlich Yid, and his father. He told me his father was a tzaddik. They were in Siberia in the camps, and they had to work. And he never was machal Shabbos, even on a Yisur D'Rabbanan. He wasn't. And we're talking about pikuach nefesh. Not machal Shabbos. For me, to say on myself not to be machal Shabbos, it's a joke. Of course, you're not machal Shabbos. Although you don't really know if you're baki in halacha or not. But let's say, but this person was in Siberia, never was machal Shabbos, even on a Yisur D'Rabbanan. That's something unbelievable. But let's say you're there with the family, so you don't have that. But just imagine, you don't know when you'll ever get out of here. Let's say you're 18 years old, and you might spend the rest of your life here in this, and it's also dark, and it's cold, and there's hardly any food, and imagine what it is, and keep thinking and imagining, and again and again and again, and then get back to that person said this and this. Maybe then it will make a difference. That's how I would say it. But on the other hand, but just to say it like that I don't know if it's right. Okay, that's the first thing I wanted to say. And now I want to take a break. Oh, there's no breaks now?
We have a new system we can speak.
Oh, we can go on and on. Okay, so now I want to say another thing. The next thing I want to talk about is, I was tonight. Now, I hope that my listeners, it won't bother them that I'm using the word I so much. I'm very sensitive to this myself. But I can't help it. I didn't prepare a talk. I'm just talking. I'm having a sichas chulin now, so I'm talking about two experiences that I had today. So I can't help it. I have to use the word I. So I'm apologizing to the listeners, and I know I would have to apologize for, but this is how I feel. I was sitting tonight in my daughter's house, and my two granddaughters went to bed, and I was sitting next to their bed like my minig is once a week, but in two of my children's houses, Mamish, you have to have shvach l'dol Hashem that I'm zocher to be able to go to my children and see my grandchildren and have a good connection with them. It's Mamish a big schus have to be molded to Hashem. They gave me that schus. Not everybody has that schus. But so I was sitting next to their bed by my two granddaughters, and I was talking, and which I do usually once a week. And I was talking about Avraham Avinu in the parsha, how Avraham Avinu was makir as a boro. So there's a chazal that my granddaughters both knew from school and from Gan, that he thought, Avraham Avinu thought, maybe the sun rules the world. Then he saw that the sun sets. So he said, oh, it can't be the sun rules the world. And maybe the moon rules the world. Then he saw the moon sets. It can't be not the sun, not the moon. So I started thinking, so what? So that it takes 1 day to come to that conclusion. 24 hours it takes to come to such a conclusion. Not the sun rules the world and not the moon. I think it's a medrash. So it takes 24 hours, because first you have to see the sunset, so it takes 12 hours. The sun is lighting, and then it sets, and then another 12 hours of the moon. So 24 hours. So it could be Makir's Boro in 1 day. But it's not like that. The Rambam says that he was 40 years old when he was Makir's Boro. That's what the Rambam says. He's in he says that he was Meshotet B'daito Cotton. He was still cotton. He was thinking. He says, the Rambam says that he was wondering who turns the galgal. The galgal is like what all the stars are in a galgal, and they keep moving and turning. And what it can turn by itself. So it says until finally he understood the image that there's Hashem that runs the world. The Rambam says that was Ben Arboim son Hika of Ramas Boro. The Ravid asks, no, there's a Yesha God. He was 3 years old when he was Makir's Boro. My question is, it should be enough 1 day. The question is an oversimplification. This question is, I know, but sometimes you have to ask simple, stupid questions, and start from that. You start. That's how you open up the subject. Then you go slowly into the thing. You can't jump. I know two people that their method, their way of thinking is to jump into the thing. Straight will jump into the brilliant part of the thing. I know two people like that. But there's another way. I don't know. I can't understand such a derech. I know you go slowly, step by step, until you develop this subject. You start, and how do you start developing it? Asking simple, stupid questions. Yeah. My simple question is, what did it take, according to the Rambam, at the age of 40? What did it take so long? He started, the Rambam says he was a cotton. The Rambam holds that it took him many, many years. So, and the Kesef Mishnah says that the pshat is that he started when he was 3 years old. The Ravid asks, that he was 3 years old. So the Kesef Mishnah he started when he was 3, and when he was Makir Boro, when he was 40 years old. It took Avraham Avinu 37 years to be Makir Boro. Started thinking, when he was 3 years old, he started thinking, who's Mesovev the Galgal, the Rambam says. Who turns the wheel? The wheel means the stars. I don't know how to say it in English. The stars, each group has a place in the heaven. And it's like a wheel, it turns. Who makes it turn around? The Avraham Avinu asked. And he got the answer 37 years later. Wow. So I was thinking, I was sitting there and talking to my 2 granddaughters, and it dawned on me that it's the pshat is, of course you could come to that conclusion in one day. But you have to, we're not talking about knowing. Question, answer. There's a question. How much is 1 and 1? Answer, 2. How much is 1 and 2? 3. We're not talking about question and answer over here. We're talking about hikir. Hikir is boro. What does it mean to be makir? It's talking about feelings, about feeling that Hashem is here. It means that I'm the famous Ramah in the beginning of the Shulchan Aruch. The Ramah says, a person his behavior is not the same when he's alone at home to the way it is when he's in front of a king. And everybody that knows that Shivish Hashem Lanagdi told me, Hashem is in front of me, he behaves different. He lives alone at home. I mean, so there's no tznius, there's no din of tznius because I'm alone, so I don't have to have tznius. I mean, there is such a thing as tznius for a man and for the way you get dressed. But why do you have to have tznius for I'm alone? I mean, but you're standing in front of Hashem, Shavis Hashem Lanagdi Tomit. Hikir is Boro means it became a Shivisi. It became a Lenegdi. That's what it means. He was Makir as Boro. And that can take 37 years. Yeah. You have the proofs. You have a proof that Hashem must have created the world because if a cat would kick over a bottle of ink, and you would find afterwards that the ink spilled on the piece of paper and wrote a beautiful piece of poetry. Would anybody believe that such a thing happens? No. Sure must be that somebody wrote it. How could such a perfect world be created by itself? Must be Hashem. Yeah, it's a very good proof. So what? And now what happens? So now, but now the person could go eat chazer, right? The world must have been created very good, makes sense, it's smart. But I want to eat chazer. That's what a person could say to himself. He doesn't have to say it. He just could say, yeah, right, and then go on with life. But there's a hikir, that there's Hashem. Hashem is right here. And Hashem said that a chazer has a poison in it that you eat it poisons, it contaminates your neshama. There was once a woman that asked me, that wasn't from that I had some relationship to her, a relative of mine in a certain way, that she said, how could it be? What it says is it true that the Torah says you're not allowed to eat the fruits of a tree for the first 3 years? I said, yeah, right, it says such a thing in the Torah. But how can it be such a thing? Isn't that a waste? They're going to take it and throw away all the fruit? You could give it to poor people. Why should you throw it away? I said, yeah, very good question. The answer is that the Torah says you're not allowed to eat this fruit. That means there's a certain poison in this fruit. explaining them. That's why it's no eitzah to give it to poor people. So the woman said, yeah, but I think it's a waste to throw it away. What can I think? But I just explained it. So you don't like my explanation. So say why you don't like my explanation. Or you just repeat yourself.
Rabbi Kaplan.
What?
Well, you just got through saying it took Avram 40 years, maybe, when he saw these things. He wanted this lady to understand in 5 minutes.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Oh, that's what I'm explaining. I'm using this as a muscle. And you see from here that you could say it makes sense. And this woman couldn't say why I'm wrong. No, maybe she didn't even know. First of all, she didn't even know that you would have to say that I'm wrong. She thought just to repeat what she says is enough. But let's say she couldn't say why I'm wrong. But still, but I don't know. I want it to be this way. That's what I'm saying. That's what took Avraham Avinu 37 years. That to be makir, to really feel. I have a good question. Who makes the Galgal turn? That's what Avraham Avinu asked the question. No. So what? So what do we do now? But no, that's the greatness of Avraham Avinu. Somebody else would say, yeah, it's a good question. So what do I do now? I go back to sleep. Avraham Avinu, no. He kept thinking and feeling and meditating on it. For the Rambam says, day and night, the Rambam lost it until he was makir, until he reached a level that's called makir. To feel that Hashem is here. What happened after that? He tzitzel of Baal Abira, the Medrash says, Avama Anihu Baal Abira, Hashem will reveal himself to him. It's me. That takes 37 years. And that's how I explained it to my two granddaughters. And they were, of course, they're young, they're not old enough to understand. But now I'm going to say a third nakuda. That my sister, we had yahrzeit for my sister 2 days ago on Vov Cheshvan, which was Monday. And one of the sons spoke, and he said, by her, she talked to little children the same way like you talk to grown-ups. She didn't talk baby talk. I was very impressed from hearing this because first of all, because I always say, and second of all, I was impressed that he noticed that he didn't just say cliches like what everybody says. She built the house of Torah and she was giving over to her husband's learning and all that. He said a certain dita and a certain special thing that she had. And I was very impressed. And he said she didn't talk baby talk to children. She treated children just like they are equal. So, and I did that also. I talked on the level that a child can understand, but this is what I talk to them. Actually, the idea came to me while I was talking to them. It came to me the idea. And another thing, now I'm going to jump to say another thing, a fourth nakuda. The Torah doesn't tell us anything about this. All this we know from Torah Shabbat. The Torah itself, in the Torah Shabbat itself, where does Avraham Avinu start? Vayomer Hashem el Avram lech lecha. Go travel to Eretz Yisrael. What was until then? What did he go through till he reached that? It's all a secret. We need Torah Shabbat for that. It could be, I don't know really how to explain it.
Rabbi Kaplan.
What?
Can I just say something? It's not 100% related, but I can't resist it. You just said the first words that Hashem said to Avram was Lech Lecha.
Right.
What were the first words that Hashem said to Yitzhak Avinu?
I don't know.
Al Tared Mitzrayma.
Yeah.
Don't go. No, I think that's interesting.
You mean in Parshas Toldos?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, no, you mean Avraham is the opposite of
Exact opposite. That's Chesed and that's Gevurah.
Very interesting.
Shamati Merav Wolfson, this.
He says he notices
no big
this.
thing, but it's.
It's like you have to look at these things, yeah. So, but I don't know how to explain it so good, but you see from here, I once was thinking that Torah, all the struggles a person goes through, that is life itself struggling. Torah is a level higher than life. The Torah is not talking about living itself, just a simple living. Of course you have to struggle. Avraham Avinu struggled. The Torah, it's not yet. Torah is after you struggle. You connect to Hashem, which is above the Teva. That's what becomes Torah. Okay. This is what I wanted to say, and if anybody has a better way of explaining any of these issues that I brought up, so I'll be makir tova to hear from them. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Rabbi Kaplan. Laila Tov. One second. Let me turn this off. Yeah.